Today I want to answer a question from one of my followers. Jill from Nevada asks, what do I do if I want to be cremated and don't want to create a huge ordeal for my family? Let's expand on Jill's original question to include all forms of final disposition, and I will hopefully give you an answer that will help to ensure that your final wishes are handled the way that you want them to be. The first way you can help ensure that your wishes are followed after you die is to talk to your next of kin. This is the best advice I can give you if you are worried about your wishes not being followed after you die. Believe it or not everybody sees eye to eye when it comes to planning a funeral, and I have found that when the lines of communication are simply opened up, the survivors and the future dead person are usually able to compromise and come to a resolution that everybody is comfortable with. I would like to add this. If you are one of those people who doesn't care what other people think in regards to your final wishes, cut it out. It does matter what other people think, and it matters what you think too. However, unlike your survivors, you won't be here to deal with the consequences of your final wishes. So, again, communicate and compromise. The second way to make sure your wishes are followed after you die is to get to know your state laws. Don't care what your next of kin think in regard to your final disposition? Think you can put your funeral or cremation wishes in your will and have them be followed after you die? Think you can appoint a non-relative personal representative to handle your final wishes to cut out the next of kin that you simply cannot stand? Think again. Did you know that some states are strict next of kin states, meaning that your next of kin may have final say over what happens to your dead body when you die, regardless of what's in your will or who you've appointed as personal representative? Did you know that in some states you can consent to your cremation prior to your death, and in other states you cannot? Did you know that power of attorney ends at death? Did you know that some attorneys misinterpret laws in regards to final disposition? Laws vary from state to state. If you have questions or concerns, call a funeral director. If your funeral director cannot answer your question, surely he or she can put you in touch with someone who can. The third way for you to help make sure your wishes are followed after you die is to pre-plan. I'm sorry to break it to you, but you are going to die, so you might as well plan for it. I have learned that most survivors tend to follow the wishes of the deceased. If a person pre-plans their funeral, usually their survivors will follow their plans to a T. Why? Number one, because survivors take comfort in knowing that their loved one is going to have the send-off that they wanted. And number two, because most people don't enjoy planning a funeral, so if the planning part is already done for them and they just have to tie up loose ends, that tends to make it a little easier. I would like to mention that I have never had a dead person call me up and say, hey, I pre-planned my funeral with you, can you come pick me up? So this means it's a good idea to tell your next of kin what you have pre-planned and where you have pre-planned, because they will be the ones who will be calling me up to tell me that you have died, and they will be the ones who will be executing your pre-planned wishes. So again, communication is key. Communicate, communicate, communicate. The fourth way that you can help make sure that your final wishes are carried out the way that you want is to pre-fund your funeral. Handling the final disposition of your dead body will cost money, and whether you choose burial, cremation, entombment, anatomical donation, whatever, it will be expensive. Regardless of what you plan to have done with your body after you die, if you leave behind no means to pay for it, or if there is no plan set in place to pay for it, you are not likely to get it. So the best way for you to get what you want as far as your final disposition is concerned is to set aside some money. This could be in the form of a pre-funded funeral at the funeral home of your choice. It could be a life insurance policy. It could be a special bank account. It could be a jar full of change. Regardless, save up some money for your funeral and you'll find that you're far more likely to have your way when it comes to your post-mortem wishes. And again, it's a good idea to tell your family or your next of kin where you put that money and how that money is to be accessed after you die. So there you have it, my advice on how to get your way even after you die. Number 1, talk to your next of kin. If you take nothing else from this video, take that away. Communicate with your family about your death because you are going to die. Number 2, get to know your state laws. Number 3, pre-plan your funeral. And number 4, put some money aside. Thank you, Jill, for asking such a great question, and I hope my advice will ensure that things will go smooth for both you and your family in the planning and preparation of your services and also after you die. Because yes, Jill, you are going to die. I don't make the rules, that's just how it is. In the course of editing the previous material, I came to realize that there may be some viewers out there who don't feel that that's enough. So if you're one of those people who is still concerned that your loved ones might not follow your final wishes, here's my advice to you. Go to an attorney and in the first line of your will, state something to the effect of, if my final wishes that I have prearranged at XYZ funeral home are not followed exactly by whoever your next of kin may be, they are to be disinherited from my estate. Ouch, pretty harsh, but I bet it'll work. And make sure you tell your next of kin that you have done that. Because you know what? Most people don't want to be written out of the will. Most people don't want to miss their piece of the pie, no matter what. So, if you tell them that, they are probably going to follow your wishes, no matter what. So, that's kind of extreme advice, but I'm pretty sure it'll work. So again, thank you for watching.